Hey y'all, Jim Pankey here, and I want to talk today about these D-Tuners. We're going to have a little shootout between the Cheetah Keys and the Mighty D-Tuner. So stick around. We're going to give these things a spin. Okay, y'all, this is the part where I ask you to support my channel. You can do that a number of ways. You can leave a comment, you can leave a thumbs up, or you can even subscribe. And subscribing is free. So hit that subscribe button, and if you want to get notifications when I post new videos, just like this one, ring that bell. All right, let's look at these tuners. So here's some topics I'd like to talk about with these tuners. One is installation, and then operation, probably their visual appearance, and how easy it is to restring your banjo, because at some point you got to put on new strings, and how well they deal with Randy Lynn rag. And those are my points we'll talk about, and I'm just going to demo some things and show you around these tuners a little bit, and then you can decide who wins the shootout. Let's talk a little about installation. The Cheetah Keys, they mount to your headstock. You can see how they mount there, and I'll show you the back, and that's what they look like on the back. Basically what you do is you have to take off your second and third string, and then these just mount to the headstock. It just it creates a little headstock sandwich there. These mount to the back, that to the front. It's a pretty simple process. It just takes you about, just a little longer than taking off and changing a couple of strings. So that's that process of installation on the Cheetah Keys, for me, was extremely simple. But I know you're asking, Jim, what about the Mighty D? How was the installation process? I have to be honest with you, for me, it was a bit tedious. It was definitely more steps involved. I did not have to remove any strings, but getting it set just right. And there's very good instructions that comes with the kit. And there's video instructions as well that are super helpful. And look, don't throw your instructions away. You're going to have to go through those instructions, and it will save you some trouble as you're doing the installation. It did take me a little longer to get these installed and where I could use them, but overall, it was not a huge ordeal. Just take your time when you're putting them on. On the back, they look like this on the back. So they just stick to the headstock. There's an adhesive. I know that's kind of scary when you're thinking about your banjo and putting adhesive, but it's a type of adhesive that will, with a little bit of effort, just some slight pressure, it will peel up and not mar your banjos. So that's that. And so that's what these look like once they're installed. One of the things that was important to me with these D-Tuners, when I first got them, I was used to using the Bill Keith tuners. So one tuner turned one way, the other turned the other. On these sets, the tuners turn the same direction. So to go down, it's a clockwise motion to me. So that's a clockwise. So that's a clockwise motion. And it's the same for the Mighty D-Tuners. So it's a clockwise motion. So if you're coming from the Cheetah Keys and you think you'd like to get a set of the Mighty D-Tuner, your left hand is not going to have to make any big adjustments. Your brain will know exactly what to do. So that operation is the same. One of the things about the Cheetah Keys, sorry, I'm just going to swap back and forth because that just makes sense to me. When you turn the Cheetah Key, you can feel a spot where you feel it kind of flip. There's a little spot where you feel it go over. And this is one of the first places I notice something on the cheetah keys is if you're not careful, it'll make a noise. It can be loud. So if you reach up and bump it, it can make a noise. So you have to control the down and the back up. So you want to keep your fingers on them. On the Mighty D-Tuner, it's super smooth all the way through. You don't feel a spot where it flips over. And they're not noisy. I can't make it make a noise. So they're definitely a quieter operation on the Mighty D-Tuner. Another difference that I noticed between the cheetah keys and the Mighty D-Tuner is the distance, or the amount that you turn your tuning button. So it's about 1/8 of a turn on the cheetah keys. It's just a small motion, and on the Mighty D-Tuner, it's 1/4 of a turn. So it gives you a little more control, but it's a little further turn. But I didn't really find that to be a problem or a disadvantage or advantage either way. It's just part of the operation. But the Mighty D is super smooth. I mean, you can really go slow, and it doesn't have that flip over like the cheetah keys do. So that's pretty cool. All right, folks, let's talk about visual appearance. The number of questions that I get on my channel about, what's that on your headstock? There's quite a few of those. And then, I can explain and show what this is, and, it's the cheetah keys. But it's there. It's not the most attractive thing. It's not exactly ugly, but it is this big block across the front of your headstock, and it does cover up some inlay. There's inlay under that you can't see, that I can't see. It's visually, well, it's not appealing, but that's the visual of it. On the other hand, the Mighty D-Tuner, you see your entire headstock, and then you have these little tubes that run around that have wires that attach to the strings, and so it gives you full view of the headstock, which is, in my opinion, it's definitely a better look. I really like the look of the Mighty D-Tuner, but just simply because it's not really hiding anything. Yeah, you do have these little tubes, but folks really don't notice them. Don't really have folks coming up and going, what's that on your headstock? Because you really don't see it. Let's talk a little about restringing. The cheetah keys are super easy to restring. You really, you put your string on, you just make sure it goes across those pins, the little cams that turn. That's a breeze. Not really a learning curve there. It's just you restring, you just make sure you go around that pin. The beauty with these is when you restring on this one or on the Mighty D-Tuner, you don't have to reset your tuners, provided that you're using the same gauge string. Restringing on the Mighty D-Tuner is a little more fiddly because you have to keep track of where those hooks are on those wires and get your string hooked under that wire, the direction, over under situation or under over. You really have to pay attention and get that right, or you're going to be fiddling with it. You can do it. It's not going to add a ton of time to your restringing. And once you've done it a time or two, it's really not a big deal. There's just a slight learning curve for that. Here's a question that might not get asked a lot, but it was one of the first questions that I had when I first looked at these cheetah keys, and then when I first looked at the Mighty D-Tuner. Can I do Randy Lynn Rag? Because Randy Lynn Rag, Earl sets the D-Tuner to where that second string goes up to a C note. So it sounds like, so it's a different sound. Can you do that with the cheetah keys? Well, obviously we can. I just did. And it's really not a big deal to set them up to do that. But the question is, and this is a mystery, because watch. You can do them with the Mighty D-Tuner, but I have no idea, folks, how I made that happen, because once they're installed correctly, it's not something I've been able to figure out just yet. If I do figure out how to do it, and I'm sure there may be a setup situation where I would have enough adjustment to make it just go a half a step instead of a whole step, I'll let you know. But I don't think I've got that much adjustment. If I do, and I find out later that I do, I will definitely let you know. I do know that Danny Stewart at Turtle Hill is working toward maybe making that happen. So when I find out some information from him, I'll pass it along to you. So I know you're just dying to know which one wins this shootout. And honestly, for me, the jury's still out. I don't have a clear favorite. As far as installation and restringing, definitely the cheetah keys. They're the easiest to install. They're the easiest to restring. For visual appearance and smoothness of operation, the Mighty D-Tuner is definitely superior there. There's things I like about both of them, and I still don't have a favorite yet. Is there a wrong answer? Like, if you bought the Mighty D-Tuner, would you be regretting it and wishing you had bought the cheetah keys? I don't think so. And I don't think if you bought the cheetah keys, you would be wishing maybe I bought the Mighty D-Tuner. They both work wonderfully. I don't have any complaints about how either of these detuning apparati work. They both work very smoothly. They're just a little different. They have a little different sound, and I'll play that beginning clip again for you so you can kind of hear the difference in that. And but they do both work, and they're easy to use. I don't think you can go wrong either way. Price point is similar on both, so my recommendation: buy the one that you think is going to be most useful and is going to suit your needs the best. I have them both, and I just recently got the Mighty D-Tuner. I've been using the cheetah keys for several years, so I do have a little bit of bias, at least from a user standpoint, on the cheetah keys, because I know how they work. I know the quirks. I know, it's the devil you know kind of situation. But I am definitely warming up to the Mighty D-Tuner. I've been using this banjo quite a bit lately, and I'm really liking it. So, hey, no clear winner on these. I think both are great options for you. So if I'll put links in the description, and just go check them out. Let me know again down in the comments which ones you're using, or if you're using, or which one you might be inclined to like better. All right, folks, we'll see you soon.